Friends, fellows, countrymen, viewers of all types, anybody who came here to watch some football, this is Ohio Bobcats Stadium. I should look up the name of the actual stadium. Regardless, this is the stadium where the Ohio Bobcats play football in Athens, Ohio, where the KU Jayhawks will be traveling this weekend to take on the Bobcats to avenge the game of last year, which was kind of a blowout. At points, kind of a shootout, too, very similar to the CMU game that the Jayhawks just played last week. I'll get to that in a little bit. This here is NCAA Gamebreaker 2001 for the PlayStation 2. Not quite a launch title for the PS2, but it was in that sort of launch window within the first year of the PlayStation 2's existence, and the only college football game, rather, to come out on the PS2 during this era. This is from 989 Sports, who you may remember as being Sony's in-house development team. They would do this game, NFL Game Day, and they were not great, as you can see there by the physics on the fumble there that goes back about 25 yards before it's recovered by Ohio. This game, my opinion on this game is going to be well-founded as the video keeps going. This game is very mediocre, and I don't recommend you play it for more than about one game at a time. Punt here by Ohio after their drive stalls. Look at this punt, law of special teams in effect here. I'm only going to show you something remarkable, and that was remarkable as it puts me right at the goal line. And then my, what do we say, flying by the seat of my pants there, kind of trying to make something out of nothing as I run the option from the end zone and predictably get sacked and get a safety. So it's 2-0 to start the game out, looking like a soccer score, looking like 2-0, the United States men's national team versus Mexico, that sort of game going right now, and I'm having about as much fun as the USMNT has been having for the past two games here. Because this is just not a great game. It is hard to control. Running the ball is okay, but it's only because your sprinting allows you to run like it's such a weird style. And you look here, this guy just kind of slides about 15 yards further after the end of the play. This game is loaded with glitches like that, and then you dive for about 5 yards at a time. You can find open receivers pretty well. Like I had a decent time passing the ball. It's just like, it's very clear when you have a guy open and when you don't have a guy open, and that was a trouble that I had with a lot of games of this era. Just this idea of that a wide receiver, when in one-on-one coverage, a good wide receiver will generally beat their man. But in games like these and in like the 2K games of the time, you had to be wide open, like my man was right there. Number one, Harrison Hill, who is present in just about every video I ever make in this series because he played at KU for 5 years. As I said in the last video, and this is the same team as the team from the last video, and if I were you, and the year were 2000, despite the fact that I score here, if I were you and this year was 2000 and you had just bought a brand new PlayStation 2 and you were looking for your college football fix, I'd actually go with NCAA Football 2001 for the PlayStation, which I played last week in last week's episode against CMU. Kind of fitting that I picked the two MAC teams for 2001. Well, really not fitting at all. Just kind of coincidental that I picked the two MAC teams for 2001 as I get stopped on the run here. The Bobcats get the ball back. And this is also indicative of the problem that I have here, is that you really can't make anything happen on defense intentionally. It just sort of happens like that. I was trying to intercept the ball, and I just kind of tipped it. Right there, we throw to the left, and we get a decent game. Again, like, passing the ball isn't impossible in this game, and sometimes you'll be successful. It's just you don't feel like you're in control, really, and that's my struggle with this game. I throw to what would be an open man in one-on-one there. I don't exactly know what happened wrong there, though, so it's incomplete. We have to kick a field goal, and at half, it goes through, and it's 10-2, and the game doesn't really know how to handle it. Again, as I'm saying, this is a sloppily produced, probably quickly produced game. I imagine that they didn't have that much time to get this out of the door, considering how quickly it launched within the span of the PlayStation 2's launch title. Within the span of the PlayStation 2's launch window. Sorry, I had to rethink what I was saying there. Ohio moving the ball pretty easily here in the third quarter offensively. Looking a little bit like the Central Michigan Chippewas against KU last week. Here they throw to the end zone, and not all that dissimilar from the KU defense. Getting that pass interference call in the end zone. Giving them another shot, and they connect. And they score, and it goes 8-10. Still in favor of the Jayhawks, but when you're down by 2, what do you do but go for 2? And that is exactly what the Ohio Bobcats do here, and they score. So we've got a 10-10 tie here in the third quarter. But this is a solid offense, as I said last week. You know, last week we had a similar situation where it was tied late in the game. We ended up winning, but that didn't happen here. We threw to Moran Norris on the right side. Couldn't get anything going, and then looking like the CMU Chippewas again. shoving a guy off there, spinning for no reason, and then running to the end zone. That's about a 60-yard touchdown. And that is about indicative of what KU did last week against CMU. Central Michigan just dominated in all facets of the game. KU got behind at half and couldn't dig themselves out of the hole in the third quarter. And it is so frustrating because it feels like here we go again. But if you want to read my more in-depth opinions on that, you can go to footballhell.net. I just put up my recap of that game. And this week on Get Together Podcast Network, gettogethernetwork.com, we're doing a show called 4th and Inches, where we talk about the KU football season. Each game we do recaps, me and my friends Mike and Alden, and we'll talk about it there. You can probably guess we're going to be a little bit frustrated and a little bit disappointed. But back to the virtual gridiron. This game is okay. Ohio moving the ball here on the option, kind of looking like the game last year where Ohio could just option run any play they wanted and score basically at will against the KU run defense, which last year really wasn't good. They've looked better this year, but they also haven't played like a great running team this year, so we'll see how it goes. I'm not optimistic. I am willing to bet this game is like 25 to 30 point blowout at the hands of Ohio, and I'm willing to bet that I hope we don't. I'm willing to bet that David Beatty loses his job by the end of the year just because of the shameful performance that was last week. Hopefully they adjust, but I am not optimistic, and I haven't been optimistic about KU football since last week when I was pretty optimistic, unfortunately. So, as I said last week, my brain thought they'd lose, my heart thought they would win, and my brain turned out to be right. So, hey, that speaks something to my level of intelligence, but also speaks something to the void that's left in my soul by watching so many bad sports teams over the years. Anyway, that pass is completed on the left side, and we get a first down there, so we're moving into scoring position, trying to complete the comeback. Down by 4, we have to score a touchdown. Find Harrison Hill on the right side here, setting up 3rd and 1. I go to the end zone. I should have just gone for the first down here because that throw is overthrown, looking like a missed field goal wide left. So all I have to do is get 1 yard. And we go up to the line, we throw to the left side, and that is just missed somehow. It wasn't a drop so much as the guy just kind of moved. It was like an inaccurate pass right there. And that's frustrating, and that's how the game ultimately will end, in one of the saddest fashions that you can end a football game. Just not so much a dramatic finish as it was an anticlimax, if there ever was one. Unfortunately, we'll have to watch this game on Saturday to find out how good the Jayhawks really are. I said this would be an important game as the season started. I'm thinking less and less of that because I'm thinking more and more that this game is an already predicted outcome. This is going to be a huge win for Ohio. This is going to be a huge demoralizing loss for KU, and I'm willing to bet we go 1-11, judging by the performance of last week. Prove me wrong, as I say, with the heart. The brain says 1-11, the heart says, they'll turn it back around, but no, maybe not so much. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you all for watching regardless. That was Jayhawks through time, and as far as I know, that's all.